Everyone.
Hi.
Very warm welcome, the 60th meeting of Personal Growth Leaders. Tomorrow is International Happiness Day. I never knew a day like this existed. It's quite interesting that this day is there specifically created because happiness is something that is intangible. Like we can't understand when we are really happy. Do we know when we are really happy? Probably. Sometimes we know that we are happy, but we don't realize it. Sometimes we actually know we are happy and we realize it as well. It's quite an interesting situation. And I was actually thinking about one particular story about Alexander the Great. He was here 2,350 years back, nearly, Alexander the Great. And he ruled quite a lot part of the whole world. And there is an interesting story from his life. He won lots of different places. He conquered and he was ruling lots of places. And there was one scene here, one event that happened in his life that was quite an extraordinary event. There were lots of people who had come to receive him. He had won another kingdom or something, and then lots of people were there who were there to receive him. And he was giving gifts to each and every person who was coming and talking to him. Then he saw that there is this person who is there a little bit far, but he is not coming to him and greeting him. He was just there lying down in the sun. And Alexander the Great actually went to him. Because he was not coming to him, Alexander went to him and he asked this person, do you want anything? Because he's the emperor, he can give whatever he wants. Then this guy said, Diogenes, his name is, he's a great philosopher during that time. And he said that, can you please move? I want to get the sunlight. That's what he said to Alexander the Great. So it's quite an interesting story, and it helps us understand that these small things in life, which sometimes we totally forget about, which we take it for granted, is what there lies the real happiness. When we get those small things, the sunlight, it comes every day, it comes free, we don't pay for it. That is, and being grateful for what we have, that is very important. If we are grateful for what we have, if we appreciate all the small things that we have in life, that's where the real happiness comes from. If we are always in a state of lack, saying that I don't have that, I don't have this, then unfortunately we are in a negative state of mind. And even though we might have billions of dollars, but if we don't have that internal satisfaction within us about acknowledging, about being grateful, we will never be happy. So it's quite an interesting story. And with that, I would like to ask the grammarian of the meeting, Sanjeev, to please give us the word of the meeting. Thank you very much, Sanjeev. You have to unmute, I would say. Okay, it looks like there is an issue with Sanjeev's audio. So let's use the word elated as the word of the meeting, elated, which is a synonym for happiness, if you want to look at it that way. Okay, now we go to the next part of our meeting, which is the prepared speeches. And we have two speeches today as part of the meeting. The first is by Fatima Afia. Title of the speech is Fire, and the evaluator of Fatima is Sabaria. So I would like to ask Sabaria to help us understand what the purpose of Fatima's speech is. Over to you, Sabaria. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmasters of the Day. I hope you all can hear me clearly. Yes? Can you all hear me?
Yes, Sabaria, we can hear you.
Okay. The speech for Fatima today is effective body language, and for her to choose a topic that lends itself to expression through movement, gestures, deliver a speech containing practice and refined non-verbal communication. Back to you.
With the speech entitled Fire, welcome Fatima Afia to the virtual stage.
For those of us here from Asian countries, especially the Muslim community, you will know that women born to families, we have our limitations. Fellow Toastmasters and one guest here. When I was born to a family of 9 siblings and being the eldest, of course, we had our limitations. Everywhere you go, you have to go with somebody who is your husband, your father, or somebody, a guardian who will take care of you. This is the culture we have been brought up. Now, as I grew up, I was tomboy. I wanted to do everything that the boys did. As soon as I left school, I started giving tuition, earning for myself because I wanted to be independent. And as any family, they want the best for your daughters. So my father said, it's time to serve your government, be a civil servant. After 3 years in the government, I decided this is it. It's not for me. I need that fire in me to carry on. So in 1998, I started my own NGO, serving the most vulnerable groups, people with disabilities in the Maldives. Now, after 26 years, still the building is standing strong and serving the communities. And during my work of life, I have been fortunate to travel to US, to Europe, and other countries to be the voice for people with disabilities, women's rights, and children. Ladies and gentlemen, the fire in you, it will happen only if you create that with small goals, medium goals, and long-term goals. When we joined Toastmasters on 1st of April 2019, people asked us, within 3 years, you have achieved so much. What have you done? Of course, within a short time, I was the Partners Chair and District Admin Chair. And within 3 years, I have chartered 6 clubs. What was that fire, that passion that pushed you to get there? It's lots of commitment, passion. And I remember one Toastmaster asked me just yesterday, do you get paid for everything? I said, no, it's all free. The time we contribute is free. And we don't serve 24 hours. you have to have that kind of time management to focus on your personal life, on your professional life, and on your Toastmasters journey. If you want to develop and improve, of course, you have to allocate a certain time of your life to get to the Toastmaster journey. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm so proud to say only yesterday I have submitted forms to start another club because that fire burns in me to do something. And when I am in Toastmasters, I want to help people so that legacy can be left behind and they can say, okay, Fatima has been the fire that has pushed us to be Toastmasters. And when you're a Toastmaster, when you're mentoring and helping other people, it's very hard for us to quantify. And I was talking to a group of Toastmasters the other day, and they said, how do you define yourself to have that fire to improve yourself? And I thought for a moment and I thought, okay, that's true. How do you quantify your improvement? Ladies and gentlemen, I can only say that those people I have mentored, from people who have been so scared to speak, but if you have that fire burning inside you to learn and grow, then only you can achieve that. And this is why I always tell members or anybody, like Somesh said today, you have to keep on learning. The happiness day is tomorrow. So let us take on ourselves to create that passion, to create that fire so that we can continue learning. Learning journey sometimes can be challenging, but at the end, the output, the result is what we want. So ladies and gentlemen, go ahead, go out and keep that fire burning inside you. Then only you will contribute something to the society and also empower the people that you meet in every day of in your life. Like the group here, within a short period of time, we have connected, we have learned together, and today we are a group of friends meeting on every Saturday. So let's keep that fire burning inside us. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatima. Really inspiring and elating speech for each and every one of us here. Thank you so much. Now we go to the second speech of this meeting, which is by John Khalid. And it's entitled Little Red Riding Hood. And his evaluator is Rosie. I would like to invite Rosie to the virtual stage to give us the purpose of John's speech. Thank you very much, Rosie.
Thank you so much. I would like to take the timer's role now, and I talked to Ricky if she could do the evaluation for John. I love Ricky's evaluation. Is that okay with you? I've already given Ricky the form.
Are you happy with that, Ricky?
Yeah, it's up to your arrangement, President.
Okay, if you're happy, please, can you help us with the purpose of John Khalid's speech? Thank you very much.
Sure, ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of this project is for John to practice using a story within a story within a speech, or giving a speech that is a story. Let's look forward to that.
Thank you very much, Ricky. With the speech entitled Little Red Riding Hood, please welcome John Khalid to the virtual stage.
Little Red Riding Hood was on the way to her grandma's. And as she went through the forest, she was a little bit apprehensive. And suddenly she heard some rustling. So she quickened her step and got faster and faster, running towards her grandma's house. She eventually got to her grandma's house, panting. She knocked on the door, stood there, nothing. Frantically, she knocked again. Grandma, Grandma! And she heard a voice. Hello, my darling. And she thought, that's funny. Grandma's never called me darling before. So she opened the door and stepped in. And she looked around the living room. There was nobody there. Grandma, Grandma, where are you? I'm up here, my darling. So she raced up the stairs into the bedroom. And there, under the covers, was her grandma. Grandma, what's wrong with you? I think I've got a touch of COVID, the grandmother said from under the covers. Grandma, you've got such big eyes that I've not noticed before. All the better to see you, my darling. And then it dropped down. Grandma, you've got such a long nose. It's the COVID, darling. I told you that. It's the COVID. And she dropped it back a little bit more. Grandma, what big teeth you've got. And she realized and started running down the stairs. The wolf that was in the bed pretending to be Grandma chased down the stairs after her. She ran out the door, slamming the door, and the wolf got hit on his nose as he went through the door. But he still started chasing her down through the wood. And all of a sudden, she hit a tree branch and fell over. She was on the floor, looking like this. And the wolf came up to her slowly, licking his lips of the anticipation of his meal. No, wolf, no, leave me alone, said Little Riding Hood. Then all of a sudden, there was a rustling again. And out of the forest came a woodcutter with a mighty axe and chopped the head of the wolf. And as the wolf's head hit the floor and bounced away, you could see the surprise on his face, with his tongue hanging out for a side. Little Red Riding Hood was laying on the floor, relieved that she was saved. And she looked up to this man that had saved her with rippling muscles, blonde hair sweeping back. And she swooned a bit. And of course, he had his big chopper in his hand. Thank you very much, Mr. Woodcutter. I'm feeling a little bit scared at the moment. The woodcutter picked her up in his arms, and she had her head in the crook of his arms where she felt safe. And he started to walk her home. Fellow Toastmasters, be wary when you're out, because you may come across a wolf in grandma's clothing. Back to you. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, John Khalid. Great storytelling and use of sounds and everything else. Thank you so much. Now we have come to the end of the first part of our meeting, which is the prepared speeches. Now, next we would have the impromptu speaking, and to lead that session, I would like to invite the table topics master of our meeting, Satya Narayana, to the virtual stage. Thank you very much, Satya.
Thank you, DTM Somesh, TM Modi. Good day to you, fellow Toastmasters, and warm welcome to the guest, Ilya. I have a range of topics today, but related to the theme of the day, happiness. So without much ado, let me start off. Can I get the rights of sharing the screen? Thank you. You're able to see my screen?
Yes,
Okay.
we can see both of you on the screen. Oh, yeah.
These are the table. I don't know why I can't see you guys. Let me see if I can do something about it. I'm still unable to see you. Yeah, here you are. Okay. So let me call upon the guest for the day with the first topic. Happiness for you is, you can elaborate on this.
Thank you, table topic master. I am elated with the question you provided with me, which is happiness. Now, happiness is something which everyone always tend to chase after. Ever since you were young, you were thinking like, oh, happiness for me means getting more money, getting a good job. And so you study for it. You study, you go through primary school, secondary school, college, and you get yourself with a really decent job in order for you to get money, in order for you to chase after happiness. And then once you reach that point, you realize yourself that, hey, the amount of money I have right now is not enough. So then you go up the corporate ladder and try to earn more money, all in the hopes of thinking, this is how I'm supposed to get happy. This is what happiness really is. However, that is my mindset back a couple of years ago. Now I realized that monetary resource can only get you so far in happiness. Family, health, and even those things with your friends that you go out and have a nice chat is what real happiness is. Being able to see friends and family together and sharing a laugh over a cup of coffee or tea, perhaps, and probably go home with a smile on your face while you're sleeping in bed. That for me is what happiness is. Thank you. Back to you, table topic master.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very well said. Let me move on to the next topic and call upon, I think all the role takers are here today now. Let me call Rosiana. Rosiana, this is your topic. Money buys happiness. What do you have to say?
We keep the timer first.
Shall I be the timer for you, Rosanna?
Okay, I'm okay. Thank you, Table Topic Master. Money buys happiness. What a great question. To me, money will buy happiness to some extent. But I think a person must be happy first to get money coming in. Yes. And if the person is actually there are studies have been conducted that if you are unhappy before you get a lot of money, when you get a lot of money, you will be more unhappy. So, of course, when we are happy from the beginning, when the money comes in, wow, it's even better. We'll be happier and happier. So money will buy happiness to some extent if you are already happy. So there is a quote by, what do you call it? By Albert Schweitzer. And he said, happiness first, then all success and good luck will come to you. So we have to be happy first, then money will come. So money actually will not buy happiness. Happiness first, then money will come. That is the truth. And try it first. You be happy and you see a lot of good things will come to you. Thank you. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Rosianna. Well said, well done. Excellent thought process. And you also had a citation quote which embellished your speech very much more, what you have to say. Now, let me call upon Kaushal. So the next, unfortunately, you're able to speak, Kaushal?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, my screen sharing, there is some trouble. I'll read out the next topic. If you were to rewind the clock to have more happiness, what would you do?
If I were to rewind the clock to have more happiness, what would I do? That's an interesting question, Mr. Topics Master, because I look back on all the experiences that I've had in life and they've really shaped who I am today, a person who is happier than they used to be. I could go back in time and change things to save myself some of the pain, but then would I have grown as a person if I had spared myself inconvenience and trouble? Would I have missed out on some lessons that now make me a happier, stronger person today? I'm not sure how much I would really change if I were to go back in time. I'm elated to be where I am today. I suppose if I could change a few things, it would be to waste a little less time and maybe learn a little bit more about various subjects, which I'm doing right now. But I would have perhaps gotten an earlier start if I had the chance to go back and change things in life. But for the most part, I value the life I've lived because it's made me the person that I am. Mr. Topics Master.
Thanks. Great thought process, Kaushal. Very well said. I agree with you completely. Whatever we have lived, that's the best times, I would say, with so much of technological advancement that has happened the last 30, 40 years. We have lived very well, in fact. Now, let me move on to Sanjeev. Will you be able to speak? The microphone is okay.
Yeah. It's.
Okay.
I think now. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Sanjeev. So your topic is again related to happiness. The topic goes like this. Happiness is the most important thing in an individual life. What are your thoughts on that?
So this is a very true thing in life, because what I find, the life is not something permanent. We are not here for a very, very permanent short duration. What we understood, it's like for the time where permanent. That is that. Okay, so for me, most essential, whatever life throughout throughout our life, we should always be happy with whatever situation, whatever chances. We should always be happy in any condition, and this is what one should understand. One person as an individual should understand that we are not here for a longer time. Now, most people, the common trained society is see with what we already have. So instead of crying for other things, we should focus on ourselves and focus entirely on the happiness. And at last, I'd say happiness is the most important part. If everything go okay, everything will go fine. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Sanjeev. There was some disturbance, but though I could comprehend that you are saying whatever it is, the present, we should be happy with the circumstances we are in without worrying too much about life. Well, let me now go to John. John, I'm sorry, we don't have many takers here, so I'm picking up the role takers. John, I think you like this topic. Life is not a rehearsal. Life is real. Life is not a rehearsal. Life is real.
Well, that's funny. I thought I was rehearsing. It's quite true. Life is not a rehearsal. It's true life. But then as a Muslim, I believe my life is to come. Okay. And I'm just down on earth just to see how I am, whether I'm good or bad. And my true life starts in the hereafter. So there's some say in that this is a rehearsal. This is just a rehearsal how we will be in the next life. That's what I believe anyway. So I am trying to be the best person I am in this life with my wife Fatima, so that we will then be together in the next life. So as you say, this is not a rehearsal. Things happen, we deal with it, but it's the way we deal with it will determine who we are and where we go into the next life. Back to you, Tabletops Master.
Thank you, John. That was a very well articulated speech and thought process. Thank you for that. Now, I think I have to call it a day, or the final one speaker I think I can have, Somesh. This I'll call her Sabariyad. I know your video you can't see, but if you switch on the audio, I'll tell you the topic.
Okay, Satya.
All
Can
right.
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
The topic goes like this: living life one moment at a time. Living one's life one moment at a time.
Thank you, table topic masters. Living life one moment at a time. That is exactly what I'm doing right now. I take every moment at a time. Here I am in Kuala Lumpur, in my husband's aunt's house, and I'm in a room. And the moment is to be with Personal Growth Toastmasters Club, to be a speech evaluator, and to deliver. And it's what I'm doing right now. So I believe in living one moment at a time. When I'm away from my home,
Oh, we are unable to hear you, Sabaria. I think there is an issue with your audio.
Right. It's okay, Satya. Back to you. Table
Okay,
topic master.
thank you, Sabaria. Unfortunately, we couldn't
welcome.
comprehend completely what you were saying, but nevertheless,
Okay.
we'll have you next week on any of these topics again. Now, I'm quite elated to have all of you speaking so eloquently. Very well. I'm happy to hand over back the mantle to DTM Somesh TMOD.
Thank you very much, Satya, for a nice set of topics. And thank you to each and everyone for your answers as well. Now we go to the third part of our program, which is the evaluation section. And for that, I would like to hand over the virtual gavel to our general evaluator of the meeting, Kaushal Gupta. Over to you, Kaushal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I would like to begin the evaluation part of our meeting by asking our evaluators to provide their oral evaluations of our speakers today. Our first speaker was Fatima. Evaluating her speech is Sabaria. Sabaria, can you please provide your evaluation of Fatima's speech?
Can you all hear me now? Because I am arranging for...
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You can hear me now. Okay,
Yes.
very well. Thank you, Kaushal, our general evaluator. First of all, I am so elated today that I am evaluating my very first mentor, Fatima Afia. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Fatima for the completion of your speech on body language, right? Now, your speech is the fire. Now, I do have issue with my internet, but I hear you well. Fire is definitely burning in me, listening to your speech about mentoring and developing members and club in District 102. As a protege and your I'm elated and proud of you for the past 3 years achievement, chartered 3 clubs, and a district administration manager. I'd like to suggest Fatima to keep the fire burning hot, red hot, so that your speech will be a greater speech, is to collaborate your voice and your gestures, to emphasize your voice with expression, especially when you were saying to grow together, that fire burning inside you. You could use your hand and your facial expression and your voice to say that, the fire burning inside you. And there were times when you said about happiness. Express yourself, smile, and pause. Say happiness. And also, like you were saying, you want to keep the fire burning. Say with the fire, say it with passion when you were saying passion. I believe that is my evaluation for you today. I hope everyone can hear me well. I'm elated to be evaluating Fatima, and I believe all of us were on fire when you were sharing with us about the fire in you to help us all grow and learn together. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Sabaria, for giving Fatima valuable feedback and encouraging all of us to embody the fire within with our voice and our hand gestures. I would now like to ask Ricky to provide his evaluation of our second speaker, John Khalid, please.
Yes, John can be a wolf. He can be the darling. He is a great storyteller. This is what I've learned from you, John. Number one, as a storyteller, you gave me the sound effect, the rustling sound in the forest, the sound knocking on the door, and panting for breath. And also you acted different voices, such as grandma's voice, the muffled voice covered, and you spoke in a pace that is slow enough for me to understand. Secondly, as a story actor, you gave me the visual experience. As you look around, you fell over, you even lick your lips. As an expert in language, number three, you have given me a vivid description of the plots and the characters. As she frantically knocking the door, her feeling apprehensive, and someone having long hair slipping back. Last but not least, your speech is complete storytelling because it has all the elements, the different characters, some humor, as you mentioned, COVID, the plots, the building up in the beginning, coming to the climax, the girl being chased until the resolution. And you ended with a simple but very important moral of the story. You have successfully done a speech that is a story to fulfill the project requirement. The storytelling has been so impeccable, ladies and gentlemen. I can only imagine what if John has stood up when he delivered the story. Of course, John, you will not be able to act as lying down or falling over, but you might be able to make use of stage movements as you move around the forest, in the house, and so on. And you might be able to make use of stage anchoring. This is the darling speaking. This is the grandma speaking. And what if you had spoken a little faster, especially in some parts of the story, like the girl being chased? Maybe, just maybe, that will create another level of energy and enthusiasm in the mind of the audience. And that might make it even more exciting. Excitement is the word. So in summary, you have appealed to me with your story auditorially, visually, in terms of language, completed with all elements of a story. I could only imagine alternative realities for you to consider. What if you stood up? What if you spoke faster? And so, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed John's story, and let's look forward to her next story. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ricky, for suggesting improvements on movement and dialogue pacing for John's already vivid speech. And Fatima, from our chat messages, I think he wanted me to talk a bit more about your body language improvement. I will attempt to do so. I did notice that you did raise your fist when you talked about the fire, but I think there were other instances when you may have incorporated more, such as when you found that your work in the government just wasn't for you. You could just, kind of express disappointment and sorrow with that. It just wasn't giving me that fire. And then when you talked about the NGO and Toastmasters, you could slowly raise your body and your hands to say, the fire is coming back. That's my suggestions, and I hope you find that helpful. Thank you to both of our speech evaluators. I would now like to ask the timer, who is Ruziana. Ruziana, thank you for already posting the times in the chat, but would you mind just reciting the times as well?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, General Evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Kausha. All right, there is no time disqualification. Everybody spoke within the time limit. Fatima, the two speakers, Fatima spoke for 6:40, John 5:45. Under the table topic, myself 138, Ilya 145. Okay, Kaushal 137, Sanjeev 134, John 113, and Sabaria. Last but not least, 109. Thank you. Back to you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Luciana.
Sorry, the evaluation part. Yeah, Sabaria, no time disqualification. Sabaria spoke for 2 minutes 42, and Ricky, Distinguished Toastmaster, spoke for 3 minutes 23. Back to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. I would now like to ask our grammarian, Sanjeev, to please provide his report.
Yeah, thanks, General Evaluator. So I'll firstly I apologize for not having some problem in my internet. So as Somesh shared the word edited today, that's entirely based on the what the theme we had, and it's a wonderful word. So what I have noted, maybe I may have may not have noted all, but what I noted, Somesh use it 3 times, Satya 2 times, and Saria use it 1 time. So we have a very less use of the word of today. Apart from that, I have noted some of motivational sentence which has come from the Fatima speech, that fix inside you to burn, create passion and life. This is the very kind of motivational speech talk. And again, again, I have noted a few things, like as Luciana said, that about the happiness first, then all this and good luck come to you. That's quite inspiring. Apart from that, I didn't find any grammatical error or misuse anywhere in anyone's speech or talk. So so it was a wonderful time. Yeah. So thanks everyone, and back to you, General Evaluator. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev, for your observations. I would now like to provide my overall report of the meeting. I like that our Toastmaster of the day greeted Ilya as our first-time guest to make him feel welcome. We began the meeting a couple of minutes late, but I believe we will be ending on time. I liked the International Happiness Day theme, and I loved the story that Somesh told about Alexander the Great's meeting with Diogenes, which showed us that real happiness comes from the small things for which we are grateful, not necessarily the big things that we strive for in life. The speakers both did a fine job and were entertaining. I also really enjoyed the table topics, and I'm thankful that Satya invited the guest to participate right off the bat to ensure that everybody had the chance to participate, and I thank the guest for agreeing to do so. We had some problems with the slideshow, and I know it's common for us to use the slideshow for table topics, but when Satya just decided to just say the topic, I think that worked just fine. So I would encourage that in the future, unless you need the slideshow to show a picture, maybe don't use a slideshow. Just say what the topic is, and without the need to show it on the slide. And my evaluation team did very well, and we followed the rules and gave a lot of feedback and overcame our technical difficulties. Another very good meeting. I hope the guest enjoyed this meeting, and I hope we gave a good impression, and I hope the guest will come back. I would now like to turn the meeting back to our Toastmaster of the day, Samesh, please.
Thank you very much, Kaushal, for running the general evaluation section and all the evaluators done so professionally. Thank you so much for your contribution. I would like to ask our guest, Ilya, to inform how you felt about the meeting and what are your thoughts in terms of coming back to us. Thank you very much, Ilya.
Thank you so much for this chance for me to provide my own feedback on today's meeting. To be honest, it was a last-minute thing. Rosianna and I were chatting on something else, and she invited me to this meeting for tonight. Now, it is 10 o'clock plus in Malaysia, and I had half a thought to guess, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and sleep. But then I thought, it is an international meeting. It's probably too much for me. But then when I thought, okay, you know what? I have nothing else to do. I'll just come in and then have a look on and the feel of the meeting. And it felt like I'm here with friends and Toastmasters I know of, and it's really not that much different, which is great. We have great international speakers, table topics, wonderful guests, and it really does feel it really feels great to be among all of you. And I do look forward to attending another meeting with you guys in the future. But thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Ilya. And you're always welcome to our meetings, and you're welcome to become our member as well if you like to. It'll be great to have you on board. So without further ado, there are 6 more minutes, and I just want to conclude our meeting. It's from a quote which says that happiness, true happiness, is an inner quality. It is a state of mind. If your mind is at peace, you're happy. If your mind is at peace, but you have nothing else, you can be happy. If you have everything the world can give, pleasure, possessions, power, but lack peace of mind, unfortunately, we can never be happy. So the formula for happiness is having a peaceful mind. And how do we get the peaceful mind? When we are in the present, when we are not bothered about something that happened in the past, which did not go according to how we wanted it to be, or when we are not brooding about the future, thinking that I will get this, I will get that. If you're just in the present, if you're just absorbing everything that is happening, being conscious of what is happening, then that is the formula for happiness. With that, I would like to conclude the meeting, and thank you all very much for attending today and your contributions and all your amazing speeches. It's been really great to have you today. Thank you very much.